Islam, Shalom, I.S.L.A.M, Osio, Hola, Aloha, Bonjour. This is your brother Zach Bey, Indigenous American Moor, coming to you live and in full effect. Thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell if you would like to be notified whenever I'm dropping new content. Leave a comment down below, interact with my content. I really appreciate your viewership. Let's jump right into it. Today, I want to talk about civil service, like a civil service duty. Now, there's ways that us as a people, like the American people nationwide, can move forward in regards to green energy, renewable energy sources. A way we can mitigate or even eliminate the need for utility bills such as water, electricity, gas. All right. So my idea on this is all of those services that need to be provided to the public can be, how can I put this? All of these services can be mitigated, and the cost of running these industries can actually be mitigated by creating a type of civil service duty, sort of like jury duty. All right. So if you think about jury duty, how every registered voter or every citizen of a certain age is responsible for answering the call to jury duty. If you're called to be on a jury, sort of like a civil service. All right, so how one has to answer that, we can divide these energies into civil service duties that every citizen, man and woman of over a certain age, should be responsible for answering. So therefore, companies won't be able to monopolize on these sources and charge citizens or nationals a fee to maintain these industries and these services. All right. So the way jury duty works is you must answer the call. So if we divide these utilities into, let's say, water, all right, clean, renewable water energy sources, electricity, clean, renewable electricity resources, wind, clean, renewable wind energies, and natural gases, clean and renewable natural gases. Every citizen, man or woman over a certain age, is responsible for doing a certain amount of work in these industries. All right. Just like jury duty, you get the summons in the mail or the call in the mail that, hey, for this week, for this 7-day span, or however long it should be, to make sure every person, every eligible person is able to answer this call. So say maybe for a week, okay, John Doe, you have to answer the civil service duty of electrician. So for this week, you'll be working in the electrician plant to, help us produce more renewable energy for, more renewable electricity. Water, okay, Jane Doe, for this week, you're going to be working in the water sanitation plant, or this week you're going to be working in the wind turbine plant or something like that, the wind turbine fields. In order for us everyday people to not have to pay these utilities, we actually subsidize these industries by actually doing work in those fields. So therefore, we all get the knowledge of renewable energy sources, natural energy sources. We all get that knowledge. So therefore, it can be passed down generationally. And we're all pretty much eliminating the need for us to be paying a bill for these renewable green energy sources. All right. If they can be produced without that much cost, we're just maintaining them. and all the energy is renewable, then there isn't really anything going to waste. You get what I'm saying? There's no need to have an entire monopolized industry that's running everything and charging all of us citizens or even the government a premium in order to provide these services: electricity, natural gas, water, stuff like that. All right. So that's one idea I have that can actually help us build better green renewable energy factories to produce clean wind energy, clean electric energy, clean water energy, natural gases, and that can, of course, help the entire nation, and the governments of said nations to actually have clean renewable energy and to educate the population. All right. So it might seem like a little much, but everybody is aware of the concept of jury duty, how you get a mail or a summons and you have to answer that call because it's a civil service. All right. It will be the same exact way. 1 week you'll be working in the electric field, and your normal jobs and duties stops. All right. So you have a normal job or whatever, they're notified. Just like if you have to do jury duty, they can't penalize you for it because it's a civil service duty that you must do. So they have to let you do it. So you're going to miss that whole week of your normal job, being a tax assessor or whatever, a teacher, whatever your job is. For that week, you're going to have a hiatus from your job, and you're going to be working, doing your civil service. And that civil service is working in one of these green renewable energy factories. And that's everybody of a certain age, man or woman, should be responsible for helping our nation and our planet as a whole. All right, that's one idea. And I want to kind of link that to a video that made its rounds on the internet last year. All right, this was a very disturbing video. Not disturbing as in graphic content, but disturbing as in the message. All right. So it was a woman, a so-called Jewish woman, who came out with a video stating that the so-called nation of Jews have a sort of council, a voting council, that they all must answer if someone offends the so-called Jewish people. All right. And in this case, I believe it was Nick Cannon had done something at the time, and they didn't like that. So they decided, this council was convened of so-called Jews, Jewish, and they were convened in order to speak about what punishment or restitution that Nick Cannon should have to do in order to make things right with the so-called Jewish community. And it was things like, they must do a donation of fees to an organization of their choosing or something like that, to a Jewish organization or something. They must make a public apology. They have to do a public apology. They have to do some sort of donation to a Jewish organization, and they have to stop talking and renounce the stuff that they said before, pretty much saying that was wrong and they were wrong and they sorry that they hurt people. But if you remember, you might be able to find it, because I feel like this video was taken off of the internet because certain people, all right, a certain group of people did not want this information to be known. They didn't want us to be privy to this certain information. But it always stuck out to me. When I saw it, I instantly knew that it was something to this. I felt as if she was being very transparent. All right. You might remember the video I'm speaking on. Hopefully it wasn't completely scrubbed off of the internet, but hopefully you can still find it. But I remember it was a so-called Jewish woman, and she was talking about how Nick Cannon had offended those people, and she had received some sort of summons in the mail in order to convene this voting council, in order to figure out what type of restitution Nick Cannon must do for offending her people. All right. In order for them to continue to get a check from the Holocaust or whatever, they must answer this call. So I am suggesting that us Moorish Americans, the American Indians, the true indigenous people of America, follow suit, do the same. We convene a council, we convene a sort of voting task force, or some sort of party that convenes, that makes decisions on who offended or affronted us and what type of restitution that those people have to do in order to get back right into our good graces. As far as if somebody makes some kind of offhanded remark about the American Indians or so-called Black African-American Negroes, we're not simply taking an apology. We want an apology, we want a donation to a certain source, and we want a promise that you will not say that again, or you will be held monetarily responsible. All right, that's what we need to do. But that really stuck out to me, that it seemed like the video, once it was shown, it might have made the rounds for a few days, and then I completely lost track of it. It like disappeared. But I remember the young woman who was speaking, she mentioned that it was convened, the council was convened for what Nick Cannon recently did. For what he said about so-called Jewish, and we all know exactly what happened to Nick Cannon. He wasn't allowed to create the Dr. Sabi documentary. He stopped doing his one of his podcast shows. He stopped wearing his turban a lot. He completely stopped. Of course, he apologized and he donated to the so-called Jewish people, and he's not speaking anything negatively or controversially about these people, or even speaking on the Hebrew Israelites at all anymore. And someone else who fell victim to this council was Whoopi Goldberg. And if you recall, Whoopi Goldberg, that surname or that family name is actually Jewish, Goldberg, all right? So she's a convert, but they showed her that she can't say anything against them in a certain way for what she spoke on, and they made her, pay the restitution or public apologies and all that stuff. Pardon me. They also did it to Marshall Mathers, or Eminem, at a time, and that one's a little older, so it was Eminem, I believe, early 2000s. They did that to him before I was aware of this is that council, and Whoopi Goldberg before that. Whoopi Goldberg after that, and most recently, I remember Nick Cannon for sure when this video actually came out. So that really made me think of how the brother Ye West, Kanye, he said something about that we need to take notes and take lessons for how the Jews, the so-called Jews, are operating right now. And we can honestly look at a lot of their systems and just copy it, like we can't be sued for copyrighting, the way people move and emulating that, because it's working, they're clearly running a lot of countries. But I digress. I really wanted to make a point about this civil service duty for mitigating the cost of utilities and pushing forward a green energy, renewable energy agenda to help our nation and the planet and the people on the planet worldwide. And then how us as a people can move forward and we can operate as a unit and make other communities of people or other celebrities or other nations respect us and actually hold them accountable for things that they might do against us, all right, as a collective. All right, so I wanted to shout out the late brother Eric Mays, who passed away, I want to say a week or two ago. He was a councilman in Chicago, I believe. Great brother. He really spoke for we the people. Very entertaining, very dynamic brother. I believe we need more, if we do continue to operate in the political arena, we need more people like him. He was a authentic brother who was really for our people. He really talked that talk, and he was really about that action. R.I.P. Rest in power, the late Eric Mays. And Thank you once again. This is your brother Tarik Bey, Indigenous American Moore. Peace. Wado.